good enough for me. Sure good to get a win the first thing out of the box.
Coach, 375 yards rushing today, 432 overall on offense, defense. You held them 272 yards rushing. You said you want to be the best rushing team in the country, and you want to stop rushing, and you want to be the best defensive team in stopping the rush. How do you feel you did on that today?
I thought we did a good job of getting some good, hard, tough runs on the inside. We got a good offensive line. For the most part, they were able to get some push and get some movement up front. There were a couple times they got us for a couple lost yardage plays, I believe. I didn't look at how many we had, but there was a couple. And a couple of short kind of got stuffed runs. But for the most part, I thought they did a good job, and we were able to run the quarterback and the B-backs in the interior. We hit a couple plays on the perimeter. Was the longest run of the day the fake punt? It probably was. Noah had that one, did. So we gained a few there too. But yeah, I was happy with the way we ran the football and controlled the clock, and the fact that we were able to get into the end zone for a touchdown on every drive. It doesn't matter how many times you have it. If you score a touchdown every time you have it, it's usually going to end up being pretty good for you. Defensively, I felt like at half we were kind of in the bend, don't break mode. We gave them that first touchdown, and that was a good drive on their part. It took us 75 yards and punched in the end zone, and they give them credit. They look good on that drive. And there were some other times where, we had them in 1st and 25, and we gave up 22 yards on the pass play, and they were able to get the ball down there, and we picked the ball off in the end zone. But I'd like for us to make them punt a little bit more, and the run game for them was sometimes pretty good. At times we did a good job getting off blocks and getting them stopped, but they hit some good run plays in there themselves, running the quarterback, running their tailback, and so I thought their team played really hard, and I noticed on the very last touchdown, there's less than a minute to go, and their defense is out there, and they rushed the PAT really hard, like it mattered, and it says a lot for their culture. So I thought their team fought, played hard. I was glad we were able to come away with a win, running the ball and doing a pretty good job stopping the run.
The coach had, it was mentioned 9 players on defense starting in the first game. Talked to Donovan Platter, came up with an interception. And Caleb Fortner, 8 tackles on the day. How did you feel like your young defense played?
I thought those guys played really hard and for the most part played pretty well. They're not all void of experience. Donovan's played in games. Washington's played in games. Caleb Fortner's played certainly a lot for us at inside linebacker. Kyle Lewis and Jacob T.O.T. and Dondre Miller, was Jack Latour. The Chance Keith, he's not had a lot of experience. He's probably one of the least experienced guys in terms of the time he's had on defense. Ella Mendoza, he's played a little on special teams, some situational stuff as a freshman, but those 2 guys are playing a lot for the first time. But we got a lot of guys in there, Max and Larkin, who have been in games. So though they may be starting together or starting for the first time, they've got plenty of experience. And we had confidence in those guys and confidence that they would go out there and be able to execute the fundamentals and perform. So, like I said, there's things we can do better. There's things we can do on offense a lot better. Special teams, there's every area. There always is. There's always areas to improve. But, I thought the defense, like I said, came up with some plays when we needed it. I wish we wouldn't bend as much. And hopefully as we go through the year, we'll bend less. But if they don't get in the end zone, I guess that's the bottom line. But flipping the field position where they start on their own 25 and they're punting it into the end zone, or we're picking a ball off in the end zone, it's a pretty good shift of field position. So it's a field position game, and the better field position we get on offense, certainly the better chance we're going to have to score.
One last quick question about Andon Thomas on the second drive on the punt. You call for him to get a direct snap. What were you thinking on that? And is that, they said, I think on media that that it helped to have the radio in the helmet. Is that a factor?
So I didn't communicate with him at all. I have the ability to communicate with him on that play, but I didn't communicate with him at all. It's just a call that we have. They took it from the sideline out to the field. He's got the opportunity to take the play if it's there, and the look that we wanted was there. So he called for it, and he's actually the guy that calls it and did a good job. They got a couple blocks for him. It started off, looked like he was going to get stuffed there, and he kind of wiggled out and had a good, nice run. So I didn't want to start the season, our first offensive drive, with a punt. We got a new offensive coordinator. System we're running this year is a little bit different, and I want our guys to have some confidence. And if we didn't make it, we didn't make it. Go play defense, and we had a lot of game left at that point. That I figured that if we gave the ball back to them and they went and scored, we're going to find a way to score ourselves and put ourselves back in the ball game. But it worked out, and we had a nice gain, and we're able to finish the drive with a touchdown.
Makes a little bit of gutsy call there, coach, or no?
Gutsy?
Yeah.
I don't know if you think it's going to work. How much guts does it take? I thought I was confident it was going to work. So it did. It's a pretty easy call. And you know what? If it wasn't there, he could have called it off and we just punt. It's not an all or nothing play. So he could have just called it off and we'd have punted there. Been disappointed that we had to punt it.
The distribution on the offense with a lot of guys getting different carries, fresh legs, how much you think that helped you guys?
There are plenty of guys that are capable of carrying the football for us. And, I'm not anointing any of our guys as All-Americans or anything like that. They're just tough guys, and they care about the team, and they're gonna run the ball hard and play the best they can for our team because they care about their teammates. And so fortunately we got Kanye Udo, who's I think a very talented player, and he showed the ability to run with some power today and break tackles and stiff arm guys, which was really fun to watch and encouraging. The touchdown run he had down there in the corner on our sideline was a great run. Hayden Reed's one of our best football players. So to be able to get him the ball, and he's very slippery and finds his way into holes and seams and gains positive yards. And Rendine is just a hammerhead. He moves the pile. He's a strong, tough runner. And I mean, our quarterback's tough as nails. So he runs the ball and gains positive yards, knocks people back. And we had a couple plays that were negative yardage plays, but it was, those plays were not, a guy just getting knocked back because he couldn't move the guy that was trying to tackle him. Most of those were perimeter plays or balls that got out to the edge and they had an angle on us. And so I like the running backs that we've got. The slots they're all a little different. Miles and Hayden's playing slot, and Noah Short and Samari Howard are all a little bit different, but all capable of carrying the ball, and they're doing a good job blocking on the perimeter for each other. So, so it's not perfect, and we got a lot of things to improve, but a lot of confidence in that group of guys that we got.
Coach, want to know the last 2 years start 0-1, going into the American Conference game next week. What does that mean going into with a win?
So it's a lot nicer to be 1-0 than 0-1. I can tell you that. Being 0-1 isn't worth a damn. So glad we got the victory tonight. We're going to play a team next week that's a lot better than the one we played tonight, more talented, and we're gonna have to play better. We can't bend as much as we bent on defense, and expect to play as well next week. We can't have negative yardage plays, short yardage plays, and early downs in drives against FAU, and put ourselves in 3rd and long. It's gonna be hard to overcome against talented teams like Florida Atlantic. We're getting ready to play in a great league. It's a very talented league, very well coached league. And of the group of 5 conferences in the country, it's, in my opinion, as good as there is. And, other conferences make their arguments for their teams, but there's a lot of parity in the league. There's a lot of teams at the top of this league that are outstanding teams that have played in New Year's 6 games and beaten Power 5 teams. And so it's a strong league, and it's going to take a strong effort and performance on our part to compete and play in the league, but we're excited about that opportunity.
Turnovers, I think, were 2-0. You always talk about how important turnovers are.
They are, and those two were big. The one going toward the building here, that pick was important. They were kind of getting themselves into scoring position, and then, like I said, they pushed that ball down after having first and 25. They're getting ready to score, and we made the pick in the corner of the end zone. So those were big. We couldn't have emphasized carrying the ball with two hands more than we did. I mean, we work ball security every day, but just constantly talking about the importance of squeezing the ball and having two hands on the ball. And so I was really proud of our guys for that. The ball exchanges were good. The pitches, the one that I probably was most disappointed with was the one that Bryson tried to force it on our sideline, and it careened off the hand of our pitch back and went out of bounds. Those things we can't do. That's a major error for us. He's just trying to make a play, but he's got to eat it at that point. And so we can't do those things. But we took care of the ball. We got up off the ground with the ball about every time. I think Bryson, on one of the sneaks, it popped out of there late. He was down, the whistle had blown, but I like for our guys to stand up and hand the ball to the official after every play that we've got it. That, just confirms that we've hung on to the ball and it's still ours.
Coach, we've seen several players tonight play multiple positions. Was that just about getting them ready in case of an inevitable and inevitable injury, or is that just to try and make sure that the opposition knows that there's different things out there they've got to worry about?
Well, Hayden Reed played several different places, just at the slot and the B-back position. I don't know that we had a lot of other guys moving around. We've got some linemen on our team that can play different positions on the line. On defense, there's like Trey Sophia. He can play a defensive end position. He can play the outside linebacker position. He just played D-line tonight, but Hayden's probably the guy that you see moving around a good bit. With the motions and the shifts and those kinds of things, it may look like guys are playing a different position, but they're pretty settled into where they're at in the lineup. Yes, sir.
Good in the room. We'll go to a couple on Zoom. Joe from Go Black Knights, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Monken, congratulations on the win. First question, I know last week after the last scrimmage, you said you definitely wanted to cut down on the pre-snap penalties and unforced errors. You only had the one tonight. Obviously, I know you'd like it to be 0, but is that an improvement over what you've seen?
It is. I mean, I'm not satisfied unless it's 0, but it was better because we've had some issues with that as we've gone through preseason camp, and it was Hayden Reed who jumped on that one play, and frankly, I told him in practice we've had the same issue with him. He just gets he's just amped up and ready to go, and on the start of the snap count he just flinches for whatever reason. So he's got to grow out of that, and so he will. I was proud of our guys for not being antsy like that and jumping on snap counts. And the Lehigh played an entirely different defense than we anticipated. It's not their base defense, at least in terms of the way their defensive coordinators defended option in the past. So though we had practiced against that defense every day in camp against our own defense, we were really anticipating a different front. So I was proud of our guys for managing that and doing a good job, and they didn't panic.
And 4th and goal from the 3, the option play to Noah Short that went for a touchdown. Was that analytics told you to go, or did you just think you guys had a good shot at getting the touchdown there, and worst case, you pin them deep?
We were a little bit outside of our number, but I felt like we could get it to the perimeter, and I asked Cody, I said, you got a play that you like here. And so we hadn't run that yet in the game, and it's a good misdirection play. And so a lot of times down there on the goal line, the secondary is creeped up pretty close to the line of scrimmage because you're 3 yards from the goal line and they're not going to be standing in the back of the end zone. So, you know, they're very reactionary, which they have to be. And so we were able to hit a misdirection play. And Kanye did a really nice job of getting out there on the perimeter and sealing the linebacker that followed him out of the box. So we pitched off the end and we pretty much just walked in there.
Thanks, Coach.
And McMillan?
Hey, Jeff, congratulations on the win.
Ken, you must be on
Is this what you expected as far as the diversity of your offense?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's that diverse. You know, we're just trying to find a way to run the ball as many different ways as we can run it. And I don't know that we could line up and run the same play 40 times, but spread it out and, you know, get it on the perimeter some and line up in there tight and knock people off the ball and try to move the pile and a lot of different ways to gain a yard. But a lot of guys carried the ball, but I don't know that we didn't call a bunch of different plays. It was just the same plays, maybe presented a little bit differently and different guys carrying it, but that's what we want to do. We want to be able to run the ball effectively and not be forced into long yardage situations where maybe that's not in our wheelhouse as much.
Is this the balance you expect from the offense as far as the number of ball carriers and such? Can we expect that this year? Or again, game situations will dictate?
Doesn't matter to me who carries it, but I want to run it every single time we got it. And that allows the ball to keep moving forward. It puts us in manageable 3rd and 4th down positions. And frankly, Ken, it really doesn't matter who carries the ball. We've got some very capable guys. It I think keeps them fresh. And you know, we got some workhorses and they can probably handle more carries, but we got some guys that do some things, you know, maybe for them personally, they're pretty good at running certain plays or getting the ball in certain ways. And we want to get the ball to them in those ways, whether it's a handoff or a pitch or a toss or a pass or whatever it may be. But I stand by what I said. We want to run the football. We want to be better at running the football than anybody in the country. And so whatever that means, however that's done, that's our goal.
And lastly, on defense, was the team aggressive enough tonight? I'm sure you would have liked to get to the quarterback a bit more.
Yeah, we were trying. I mean, they had there weren't a lot of throws that they were asking him to make where he had to stand back there in the pocket for a long time.
Mhm.
The 1st and 25, where they hit that 22-yard pass on the sideline, we lost contain, so we didn't hold him in the pocket. And he got out there and had a really good view of the throw. And you know, we weren't in a great position to defend that pass. They flooded the zone. They had a vertical route by number 1. They had a deep out by number 2 and a flat route by number 3. Now 1st and 25, we jumped the flat route. We don't need to. We can be underneath the number 2 route and probably in better position. But you know, a lot of the throws were catch and throw. He didn't hold it for very long, so it's hard to get to the quarterback when he's getting rid of the ball in a couple of seconds. So I thought Mendoza did a good job rushing the passer. He just, like I said, couldn't quite get there. The guy was getting rid of the ball and couldn't quite get there on time every time. But you know, hopefully we'll get better at rushing the passer and beating one-on-one blocks. And you know, that's not. If you watch this play, you know, we aren't loaded with guys that are just great all-American pass rushers. We got to do some things up front and move people around and stunts and twists and blitzes to try to get people home. And you know, that was the thing on that throw at 1st and 25. We ran a blitz, we rushed 6 people, and so it puts less people back there in coverage. And unfortunately, we lost contain, and that gave them access to throw it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Lastly, Joe from Underdog, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Coach, know you're a perfectionist, but pretty emphatic win to start the year. What's that kind of do for your momentum as you move forward here?
Oh, I don't know. You never lose momentum if you keep believing. So it doesn't matter what happens. I'm proud of our guys for the win, but we take it for what it is. You know, that's an FCS team that won 2 games last year. And that's not to discredit Lehigh. That they have an outstanding coach, and I think that's a good Patriot League team. But we have to, you know, instead of wearing our arms out, patting ourselves on the back, find what we can do better and have enough humility to understand that we're going to have to do a lot of the things we did tonight better if we're going to beat FAU or have a chance. So I think that's, you know, it's great to win. We're going to celebrate every one of them because it's hard to win a college football game. And for anybody else who's around here in 2015, when we lost to Fordham to start the season, you know, that's no fun. So I'm glad we got this win, and we're going to enjoy it and learn from it, but hopefully get better and improve as this week goes along so that we can go down to FAU and give them everything we got, give ourselves a chance.